So you're considering a move to Fort Myers, Florida, and I moved here about 16 years ago. And some things have changed, but I'm gonna go over the top 10 things that I would have wanted to know before making the big move. Now, the first thing that's very important to know is that, here I am in downtown Fort Myers, otherwise known as the River District. But most people think of Fort Myers and they think of the beach. And the two locations are drastically far apart. We've got a very long distance, about 16 miles to get to Fort Myers Beach from downtown. That's about 30 minutes with no traffic. And as you'll find out later, that is something to be aware of. The second thing on our list that you should absolutely know is actually seems somewhat obvious, but the weather here in Fort Myers, I wish that I knew a little bit more about that prior to moving, and that the summers here, yeah, they get a bit toasty. On average though, our high is only 91 degrees. And so it's the humidity that actually makes the difference, and that's what makes people feel so hot and steamy in Florida in the summer months. And that's about 6 months out of the year. But in the summer, we typically have very hard rains in the afternoons that do cool things down. Now, the other 6 months out of the year, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, quite dry, highs in the 70s or 80s. That's what people think of when they think about moving to Fort Myers. All right, the next thing that I would have loved to have known is the beach access. And so Fort Myers Beach, world-renowned, amazing place. Getting to the beach can be a challenge. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're not going to the beach, say, on a Saturday morning first thing, because we could be in a situation where you could get 1 mile from the beach and then it takes you 30 to 45 minutes to get over the bridge to get to Fort Myers Beach. And so what you want to do is you want to plan accordingly and also start to discover some of the lesser known beaches that are in the area. There are some secrets there to be able to explore that without getting into all of the crazy beach traffic. If you're enjoying the tips so far, if you could do me a favor and like the video and subscribe to the channel, that really helps the YouTube algorithm give some love and share this video out. I appreciate you doing that. Now let's get back to our tips. So one of the major things that you'll want to consider when moving to Fort Myers, Florida is the real estate. Now, when it comes to real estate, I did not understand before I had moved here how many gated communities there are in the area. It's significant, and the majority of homes are in gated communities with homeowners associations, different levels of amenities. Now, there are options that are not in gated communities, so if that's not your thing, that's quite okay. But because of the second home, the amount of second homes that we have here in Fort Myers, we find a lot of those down here. And if you're looking for lifestyle, it's actually a really great way to be able to stay in the neighborhood, get to enjoy a lot of the amenities and sunshine that we have here in Fort Myers. The next thing you'll want to know is how abundant the outdoor activities are here in Southwest Florida. And so if you like to go boating, fishing, golfing, kayaking, paddleboarding, tennis, bocce ball, many other activities, you can do that here in Southwest Florida. And the beautiful thing there is you can do it year round. So I remember I grew up in St. Louis and I like to go fishing, but you have a very short window of time when you can make that happen. Now the fish down here, they grow year round and they bite year round. And so if you like to do these types of outdoor activities, it's an amazing place that you can enjoy those things absolutely 100% 365 days out of the year. If you have school-age children, you're gonna wanna know about the school system here in Fort Myers. Now, the county runs the school system, Lee County, and it's a bit different than what you're probably used to in your hometown. Down here, we have something that's called School of Choice. And School of Choice sounds amazing because you can choose your school. You don't have to buy a home right next to the school that you want your child to go to. However, it is a lottery system, and so you fill out an application. You're gonna put your top 10 choices that are in your zone, so there are certain zones here, and then they're going to choose based on the availability where your child goes. Now, the great thing here is that if you have multiple children, say you have one in 3rd grade, one going into 1st grade, they're gonna do everything in their power to make sure your kids go to the same school. Now, on top of that, if that's not for you, there are a lot of great private school options here in Fort Myers, and so that's, you know, a great possibility if you don't like the School of Choice system. The next thing that you'll want to know is how the airport works here in Southwest Florida. So RSW is basically Fort Myers International Airport. It is an international airport. What we love about the airport is that it's very easy to access from here. So usually security lines are not bad. You don't have to get there 3 hours in advance like you would in a big city. Now, one of the challenges that comes with a smaller international airport is there's very few direct flights to the places where you want to go. So you're typically going to have a layover in Atlanta or Dallas or Houston, or sometimes you even have to go just over to Miami to be able to get to another city in the United States. So if you travel very often, that may be something to consider because, again, it's not that easy to access from direct flights. Now, if your current home is in the Midwest or Northeast, there are a lot of direct flights because of the amount of people who have transplanted from those areas to Fort Myers. So that could be an option for you, but it's just something to keep in mind. Now, you really want to make sure that you understand, if you're moving to Fort Myers, the difference between season and off-season. Our season is what we refer to, really January through March is high season, but if you take December, November, and then a little bit of April, that also can be considered season, where more of the snowbirds, the seasonal residents, are down here and enjoying the winter weather that Florida has to offer. Now, off-season, our summer months, those are, you know, what most people don't come down here for, but you actually start to cherish the summer and the off-season over time because our population doubles when we're in season. So off-season, much easier to get into the restaurants, much easier traffic flow, and overall, it's actually a really good time of year to visit and be in Florida. So one other thing that you'll want to know that you may not expect is that Fort Myers actually has a very strong cultural and arts scene. I'm here in front of the Sidney and Byrne Davis Art Center. It's this beautiful historic building right in downtown Fort Myers in the River District. And this is really the center, the hub of what the arts are here in Fort Myers. Now, the other interesting thing that happens is on the first Friday of every single month, there's something that is called Art Walk. And Art Walk is where local vendors display their artwork out and about along First Street and in downtown Fort Myers. And then on the 3rd Friday of every single month is Music Walk. And just like Art Walk, but the local musicians come and play for tips. And it's just really a nice vibe. It's a good scene and something that I really think that you would want to check out. Now, if you've watched this video so far, clearly you are interested in moving to the area. Now, me and my team at Gulf Point Properties would be honored to have a conversation with you to just discuss what that could look like. There's no obligation on anything, but it helps understand the area, and maybe you can plan a trip down and we can show you around to what is all possible here in Fort Myers, Florida.